DeLuna Coffee is owned and operated by diehard Florida State fans and boosters, the Lemmix family in Pensacola. So cut them some slack for their Hurricane blend. No green and orange, and it's definitely not all about some random letter in the alphabet. It simply is a blend for those of you who love that strong coffee flavor without bitterness. DeLuna has combined 2 different South American beans with a Hawaiian bean. In fact, the Hurricane blend has won as many ACC titles as the school in Coral Gables. Try it or one of their other 24 blends and get a discount when you use the promo code WARCHANT15. Visit DeLunaCoffee.com and check out their Facebook and Instagram.
From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
WarChant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee.
Coffee's for closers only.
Now here's WarChant.com's Aslan Hajavandi.
And Corey Clark.
Wake up! What is up? It is Wake Up Warchant. It is fueled by DeLuna Coffee, DeLunaCoffee.com. Come explore our world of coffee. Use that promo code WARCHANT15 for your last-minute Christmas holiday shopping. They've got gift cards, everybody. Gift cards delivered electronically. Just forward them over in an email. Everything's all good. Don't have to even get out of your house. WarChant.com, your ultimate Seminoles sports source. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's the lower right corner of your screen. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit the thumbs up. And you iOS Apple folk, which I'll probably be joining you soon here, Corey. My phone is slowly degrading. Nothing against the Droid, nothing against Google. This phone just ended up in my wash cycle about 3-4 months ago. And it's hung in there. It's done an all right job. But it's starting to degrade. So I'll probably end up getting an iPhone. That way I can just, stop screwing up all of our group text messages.
Yeah, it'll be cool not getting a text a day later. That would be awesome. So that's I guess they did that on purpose. iPhone did.
Probably.
Like it's going to be so maddening to be in a group text with somebody where it's just green that shows up that people are going to shame him or her to the point where they have to go get an iPhone.
Yeah.
Smart business. They do a lot of smart things over there.
They know what they're doing. Corey, how are you, man? Christmas time. It's almost here, man. Well, I mean, it just has been Christmas time, but Christmas. It's almost here. This is probably our last show of the week, everybody. So savor it. Drink it in. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well, buddy. I'm doing well. A little bummed. I'm probably not going to be able to spend Christmas with my son because he has tested positive. Mild symptoms, seems to be doing well, but he's tested positive, so I probably won't be able to be with him until the 27th or 28th. But I'll still be able to be with my mom and my sister and her husband, so I got that going for us. But it's not the same, man. The only reason I even get excited about Christmas anymore is because of Brady. Once you get older, it's like nobody's giving me any gifts. So that's a bummer. But other than that, we're still doing all right.
He can't just wear his mask and just stay distant, or you're going to want to put your paws all
well,
over
the thing is, we do it with my mom. So if it was just going to be me and him, he'd wear a mask and he'd be upstairs, I'd be downstairs, and we'd yell at each other.
Nice.
That's fine. But no, with my mom there, even though she's been vaxxed and boosted, she's almost 80 years old. I don't want to risk it. He already got his mom sick. I don't want him to get my mom sick because he'd feel really bad about that.
Just taking out all the matriarchs.
Maybe Shanna got him sick. Who knows?
Probably.
Who knows how it worked out?
Way to go, Shanna. Way to ruin Christmas for the Clarks.
Yeah. That's why I've always called her Grinch. She always finds a way to ruin Christmas.
Stop it. We're going to dive back into the Renegade Express mailbag, finish these up. Again, not a lot of recent news to pass along. I was going to try to come out with this strong monologue open, Corey, about did Florida State kind of fall asleep at the wheel, not pouncing on this first wave of starting quarterbacks after watching some of the highlights of the Eagles game from Tuesday night. Shout out NFL giving us football on a Tuesday night. Appreciate that. But Jalen Hurts has sort of developed this 1 week. They're like, you know what, we can kind of win with this guy. We might be okay. We didn't waste a draft pick after all. Then the next week he's taking us about as far as we can go. We're going to have to draft somebody else. We're going to have to get somebody in free agency. And I wonder if that's just going to be maybe the tale of Jordan Travis, where it's going to be you're just going to see some games where it's like, man, this kid, man, he's putting it all together. He really is special. And then there's going to be certain weeks where you're like, dang, if they had a better quarterback, maybe they're winning more games than they are. Like that first wave, like Max Johnson had more touchdowns, more total yards, better completion percentage than Jordan Travis. Spencer Rattler had a better completion percentage. I don't think he threw for more yards, though, because he got cut short. Keaton Slovis is a guy that had a better completion percentage but didn't have nearly the amount of total yards that Jordan had. But there were Dylan Gabriel, if you parse out his shortened season, would have counted for well more touchdowns than Jordan had. So those guys are gone. I don't know who else is left out there. Jack Miller, Ohio State transfer that was from Arizona, was committed to Florida. But again, we're going to ride with this kid, I guess. I just wonder if maybe they got gun-shy because the Mackenzie Milton experiment did fail so, I won't say miserably, but it failed. It did. I mean, good for him. He got to play another year and kind of be around a football team and showcase his story to the country. Maybe his presence alone did help some guys grow up, but ultimately it didn't help you in any football games at all. So it's hard to call it a success. I wonder how much of that just kind of made them gun-shy and be like, screw it. Like, this kid's done good enough. We'll figure it out.
I would be interested in looking at – I don't know the situation enough of the situations at those other schools, but like Pitt had an opportunity right away, right? Like they just lost their quarterback.
Yeah.
Their starting quarterback is leaving. I assume UCLA had an opening. That's why Gabriel's going there. I assume South Carolina – I know South Carolina had an opening. That's why Rattler's going there. And who's going to UCLA? Gabriel.
Yeah. But I think that Dorian Thomas Robinson kid, I don't think he is declared for the draft, but I guess the prevailing wisdom that he's going to, since that's why Gabriel, I mean, I guess to the point you're about to probably make, no one's going somewhere where there's going to be stiff competition.
Right. So it was like we talked about earlier in December. Like I do think Florida State should get another quarterback. I think they need somebody with experience because right now, if Jordan Travis goes down, and he will go down at some point, who are you left with? You're left with Rodemaker for now, and you're left with an unproven freshman quarterback. That's it. You need a little more depth there, but it's an interesting situation because Travis did play pretty well. He certainly played well the second half of the season when he was healthy. He showed that he could be a starting quarterback. So a guy like, those guys want to go in where they know they're going to get the job, and I don't think, the Max Johnsons of the world, there's no way Mike Norvell is going to tell Max Johnson, yeah, man, you're our starting quarterback if you come here. You can't make that guarantee because it might not be true. And I don't think A&M did that. I don't think A&M, I don't think Jimbo was telling that kid you're going to be our starting quarterback because he's got a 5-star that got hurt last year that they like a lot. So I assume that's going to be a competition too. But I don't know what they could have done. I don't know how hard they were pushing for these kids, but I also don't know how interested these kids were in Florida State because it's not a go and play immediately situation. It's a go and compete immediately, but you're not guaranteed a starting spot. And, Mackenzie Milton did come last year, but again, we've talked about this. Like think about Florida State's QB situation last year. Mackenzie Milton was not scared away by Jordan Travis, who had played like the better part of 3.5 games in his whole college career. Well, now Jordan Travis has a whole year under his belt and won some games, made some huge plays and huge moments. So it's a different Jordan Travis. That name means something different now than it did a year ago. Now, are there better quarterbacks out there than him in the portal that they could have gotten? Yeah, probably. But I don't know that those quarterbacks are interested in Florida State because they can't be guaranteed a starting spot.
Yeah, I didn't really want to. Slovis, Pitt probably wasn't the best example because apparently he's got a significant other that plays soccer there, and boy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How about that?
I'd ditch out L.A. for some gray winters in Pittsburgh if it was hanging out with her. So good for him.
Oh, you've seen a picture of her?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, well done, Keith.
I'll try to text it to you here off
Well,
camera.
let's not go crazy. I'm fine. I'm happily.
I mean, she plays college. We can just point out the fact that a very successful athletic soccer player is,
Well, right, but he also, like, if Kenny Pickett was just a sophomore, Slovis wouldn't be going there this year. You know what I mean? He wouldn't go there if there was. I mean, it worked out. That's weird, man. Isn't he from California?
Slovis?
Yeah.
No, he's from Arizona, actually.
Is she from Arizona? Like, how would the USC quarterback in
high
the
school
Pitt?
sweethearts, I would assume.
Oh, okay.
All roads lead to freaking Arizona. Spencer Rattler's from Arizona. Brock Purdy. I remember last year, the New Year's Six Bowls, there was some crazy thing like 6 of the quarterbacks in the New Year's Six Bowls were from the state of Arizona. Like the kid that left Oregon, Schuff. He's got one of those weird, crazy names spelled out. But he ended up going, I think, to Texas Tech. He was from Arizona, so that's the way they roll. That's the way they roll.
All right.
But nonetheless, let's hop back here into the Renegade Express mailbag, taking all the questions from you good, fine folks over on the Tribal Council. Well, let's get to NYC Nole. Wake up, gents. Santa's here. He's got a lot of nice things to say about me. I appreciate NYC Nole. I'm not going to read them out loud. It makes me uncomfortable. But I appreciate your sentiments. If you want to know what he said, be a subscriber. Go into the thread. Read it, everybody. Okay, enough spreading Christmas cheer. I really don't know how to feel about the results of this early signing day. Part of me is ecstatic, doing what we did coming off a 5-7 season, but the other part is disappointed with coming up empty or not enough at certain positions. A lot of questions have been asked of current or recent position coaches if they are cutting the mustard on the recruiting trail. My question is, can you shed any light on if the behind-the-scenes cast, whether that's director of player personnel, director of high school relations, head of the NIL offerings, can you shed light on the behind-the-scenes cast? Are you confident in their abilities? Thank you, guys. Happy holidays. Looking forward to a better 2022. Might have been a better Michael Langston question. Because these folks, I'm not knocking it, but they're mainly self-promoters. They're going to, thump their chest when they get certain guys and say it was because of them. But I think most of these guys are pretty well thought of in the industry. Kenyatta Watson, right? Because Kenyatta Walker played football. Kenyatta Watson. Right. I mean, he's a guy that I think I saw his name floating around a year or so before he even came to Florida State as a guy that was well thought of in these kind of circles. Sabbath Joseph, I think, was pretty instrumental in helping pull some of the Miami guys, South Florida guys. I know Ryan Bartow. I think there's a real good one-on-one. A lot of good comments, Corey, on the YouTube page about the sort of not quasi. But basically, Ira ended up interviewing Ryan Bartow after sign day. Nobody else was around, so it was just those two guys, and he was kind of discussing his role and everything. So. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much of this we can the undercomings. I don't know how much of it can pin on those behind the scenes guys, but it does seem like there are numerous people in supporting roles that are helping out the cause overall.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know how you quantify it though, right? Like, what do they sway a kid to come to Florida State? Do they sway a kid to visit Florida State? What is their real role? What is their impact? I don't know that those guys. I don't know how you – I mean, I guess you would know if they're doing a bad job, and I don't think those guys are doing a bad job. They seem to be energetic, and they like what they do, which is a big deal. And they have connections, which is an enormous deal. But I don't know that, like, on signing day that guys are committing to Florida State because of Ryan Bartow. In fact, I know they aren't. But that's not really his role. His role is to have connections, to get people interested, to feel people out to see if they're wasting their time. Like if Florida State's wasting their time even pursuing it. It's just it's too hard to quantify to say they did a great job or an awful job. I think they did again, for what they've done, coming off a 5-7 season, to have a top 15 class, a top 12 class is pretty impressive. We'll see what they do in the portal. And I guess they're I know some of them are like high school player personnels, but I guess some of them have to be in the portal too. Like you have to devote as many resources almost to the portal as you do to high school recruiting now. Like they're going to sign they may have signed 20 high school kids this year and sign 12 portal kids, but those portal kids play immediately. So that should be where like half of your resources would go, I would think. Well,
do you need it though? When you got the Rivals portal Twitter feed, you can just dial into that, and know what's going on. But no, you're right. They got to invest numerous human resources in knowing what's going on in the portal because you have to be on top of it. You absolutely have to. Time is of the essence of that. That's the weird thing, right? It's a long game with the high school kids, but I feel like the portal is so much identifying as soon as possible, getting in front of it and pitching the right package and getting them on campus and just trying to get it done because they mostly don't seem to want to play the game. The portal kids, they're just like, all right, let me go visit 1 or 2 schools and then I'll know. Like they don't need to do 5 schools and make a top 5, and most of them don't that have already played the game. Let's go to Warpath, Noel, Corey. Okay. Wake up! Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. You guys are the gift we get year-round, so thanks for all your entertainment gold. Well, thank you, Warpath, Noel. What was the worst Christmas/holiday present you ever received? two-parter. Then he's got another one about football. I mean, we only got Christmas presents for maybe like the first 12 years, 13 years of my life, so I was a kid. I was pretty excited about that. I do remember I was a rotten kid in elementary school, though, and we did like a gift exchange at our school, and I somehow ended up with this 4-pack of Matchbox cars, but they weren't metal Matchbox cars. They were made from just the cheapest possible plastic. The axle of the wheels was like a paper clip. It couldn't have been more than 99 cents at the Circle K. And I threw an absolute fit when I got it. Because I forgot what I bought. I bought something cool. I bought like a He-Man figurine and a WWF magazine and like bundle. Like I gave out a really cool gift, and then I ended up getting that, and I got in so much trouble because I threw a tantrum and like, you're being so ungrateful. You know, you don't know who
You threw a tantrum where?
Like in second grade in school.
But like in the classroom?
Yeah, like I opened up, like, are you serious? Like, who did
I
this?
can see that. I can see that happening.
Who would do this?
Yeah.
Your parents let you, like your mom and dad were like, this'll do. But then again, like I grew up in a kind of blue collar, I should have. Now, if I saw myself doing that, I'd probably punch myself. Like, you're an idiot.
Yeah. At least you know now. You got a little perspective now.
Yeah, I love it.
I don't, probably a sweater or something. My mom.
What about this whole thing, you American folks, and I'm American, I'm born and raised here, but like grandparents buy you guys socks, underwear, like these are legitimate presents? Like these aren't stocking stuffers. Like grandma wraps socks, and that's your present from grandma's socks. This is a thing.
Yeah, I didn't live that life, but I've heard of that. I've heard of that happening. But they were never great presents because they were grandparents. They just wanted something. So what they would do is ask my parents, what does he need? Not what does he want, what does he need? Well, he could use some underwear and some socks. So I knew I'd get something like that. I don't specifically know if it was socks or not, but I'd get something that every day that you
something
needed.
Practical, yeah.
Yeah, something practical. But my mom for years, we've stopped doing it now. In fact, I shop for myself and then like bill her. That's what I'm doing this year.
That's horrible.
Yeah, well, she does the same thing. Like she's like, I'm going to buy this. You owe me $100 for it or something. Because, she's out there anyway. She's going to get it. She'll wrap it, and then it's from me, and I just pay her for it. So I'm doing that with her this year because for years I would ask for, like, sweaters, just nice clothes, nicer clothes, a nicer shirt, and she would not do well with that. It would always be pretty, not pretty ugly, just not great. Not great, not something I would wear a ton. So now I'm getting myself clothes. But I don't have one. I was pretty lucky. I don't remember, like, a specific – like awful Christmas present that I got. I'm sure there was one in a Secret Santa along the line.
Yeah, my parents always delivered. We'd give them a list and they would get most of the stuff we wanted. So it was always happy at the Hudge of Andy household.
When it comes to salads, the fresher, the better. That's why at Zaxby's, we don't make your salad until you order it. Try our brand new Southwest salad with fire-roasted corn, juicy tomatoes, crispy Santa Fe tortilla strips, and our new Southwest ranch dressing. It's big enough to fill you up without weighing you down. The new Southwest salad. Get it fresh, get it customized, get it made to order. For a limited time, only at your neighborhood Zaxby's.
All right, now to football. Warpath Noel says, which recruit from this class that's signed so far is the one you are most excited about? I mean, long-term Armella, just because go to YouTube, search Julian Armella rivals when you're on YouTube, everybody, and you'll see the clips of him performing at these camps, and he just talks so much junk, just like the biggest jerk bully.
Yeah.
Which, if he's on the Gators, we're sitting here and just talking about how big of a punk he is, but he's ours, so we like it. So I'm excited to see how that can manifest itself maybe after 2 years. But again, our guy from Niceville, let me go pull up the pronouncer again from our guy there, Amstaff Noel, Mr. Thomas.
Just call him Thomas.
But his name's not Thomas. That's his last name. He's got a first name.
Still, I say Travis sometimes.
Azarie Thomas. That remains my favorite. I like all these offensive linemen, though, but it's just going to take a little more time to unwrap those presents, if you will.
Yeah, I would say your answers are correct. Maybe throw McCall in there too, and then the portal guys. Again, just because I don't expect the other guys to make any real impact at all their first year. But yeah, I actually have a story. I talked to Julian Armella's dad, Enzo, who played in the early 90s at Florida State as a nose guard, and that story is up on Warchant, like when he knew that he was going to be a really good offensive lineman, why he kept him out of football till he was 12, the fact that he's got a mean streak like his old man, which, again, you say it, man, absolutely. You want an offensive lineman that's just mean. Like not like criminally mean, but mean, man. You need a nasty streak. And remember, his dad, I looked it up, his last year at Florida State, where he started before he got hurt, was a 6-foot, 254-pound nose guard. So imagine what kind of ferocity and violence you have to play with at that size to play for Mickey Andrews on the reigning national champions. So he was born with a mean streak. So that's good. He's got that in him. That aggression is there, and you want it to be cultivated to the point where when he's playing for you, whether it's tackle, guard, wherever he's going to be, that he's punishing guys and enjoying it. Because they haven't had a lot of that lately, Aslan. I don't know if you realize that.
No, you're right. We have not. Moving along, Danfin, 1989. The Syracuse win ended the losing streak and brought out the bubbly. What will it take to get Corey Clark to pop another cork? Whenever it happens, I'd love to see him pop it using a sword or saber. It may scare the heck out of Ira, but it would be fun to see. If you've never seen that, there are videos of it on YouTube, naturally. That'd be pretty cool if you like swashbuckling, like pulling out, like unsheathing a sword. I've wanted to do that, but I'm not brave enough. I just feel like because you end up like breaking and shattering the tip of the bottle. So I don't even know how much of it's even really usable after that. Like you can't drink it really after because there's probably going to be shards of glass in it. It's spewing everywhere, but it does look super cool. ACC
right, but I would have to practice
berth,
it.
ACC championship victory, playoff berth. What would it have to be? But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to practice it for months.
It's a lot of bottles you'll be going through.
Yeah, I know. I would say, maybe a playoff berth. You're talking. So he's talking about taking out a sword.
Yes. Like
an actual sword, like from Pulp Fiction, like
one
of those types of swords.
It doesn't have to be a katana. You can use like a good kitchen, like a good chef's knife. And
No. He wanted a sword.
He says a sword or a saber. Okay, you're right.
Yeah, so I got to go get a sword. Number one, I assume they're not cheap, and I've got to practice with it on a. But like that's imagine Ira's surprise
when I throw off camera. I throw you a sword off camera. Like
Yeah, and I unsheath it. And who's holding the bottle?
You do.
Ira?
No, you have to hold it. The person who's doing it. You pinch the bottom because it's like the bottom of a champagne bottle is concave. So like you pinch it at the bottom and you hold it at like a 45-degree angle. And there's a seam that runs along the side of a champagne bottle. And then you run the knife. You run the blade along that seam, but you do it in a pretty fast motion. And then It sounds easy. It looks easy. But again, practice would need to be had.
Yeah, what do you think happens if I miss the bottle?
Oh, you'd whiff and you'd probably would drop the bottle. You'd be like so tense.
But wouldn't I hit myself with the sword?
No, because you're holding at a 45-degree angle out from your body, and then you're following along on the bottle. So you'd probably like fling it out of it would fall out of your hand, the sword and the bottle before. There's no way it's gonna you're gonna circle your hand back and decapitate yourself.
Oh well, then I'm fine. I'll do it for Duquesne. I thought it was dangerous. I'll do it every day. I don't care. I love sword play.
A Coney Knoll or a Sony Knoll. Again, I don't know the name of this town in Florida.
Probably a Coney.
Thank you, Corey. I'll keep it short and sweet. Just keep doing what you two do. Entertainment for the Knoll family. Thanks, man. That's it.
That's nice. That is what we try to do. What is what we try to do? I can't wait for the team to be good again. Yeah. That'll be awesome.
Is it worth talking about? So we got a couple more questions, but I mean, I don't want to talk about politics on our last show before Christmas, but so A&M's not going to play in their bowl game. Apparently, Miami's entire team is under protocol.
Right.
What are we going to do? I mean, shout out to Adams. I thought Adam Silver gave the best answer, commissioner of the NBA, where he's like, we can't eradicate this thing. We just have to learn to live with it. Alabama's OC, Bill O'Brien's got it, and Doug Marone's got it, which just makes me wonder if it's all football all the time at Alabama, and you go home, and then you're in the facility, and 90% of the team's vaccinated, and you're at that threshold. Like, why? So why are people still getting tested? How are people getting sick? How is it coming inside the quasi bubble that you formed?
Well, I think people probably got laxed. I know I did. Brady sure did, apparently. And it's just the new variant. I don't think it's political. I think that what they will do after the new year, all these sports leagues, because what happened with I'm dating a Browns fan. And the way they got basically knocked out of the playoffs is a farce. They played a guy that hadn't played all season, Nick Mullins, who's their practice squad QB. Washington is in a huge playoff race, or not in a huge playoff race. They're not going to win anything, but the Washington football team has a chance to get to the playoffs, and they had to play a quarterback that had been on the practice squad all year that had one start in his career because of this.
Heineke didn't play last night?
No, it was, I can't remember, Gilbert, the kid from Texas.
Oh, Garrett Gilbert, the guy that came in for Colt McCoy. Long live Garrett Gilbert.
Yeah, so he's still doing his thing. And he actually didn't play terribly. But it's like, man, this isn't in the NBA. Like the Hawks are, half their team is out, but they're still moving on. So what I think they're going to do is once we get to the new year, look, some bowl games might be canceled, but I think we all understand now that COVID isn't going to go away, right? It's going to be a part of our lives.
It's a virus, yeah. That's what it does.
So it's just going to be a part of our lives like the flu. And if you have a flu outbreak on a team, you don't cancel games. If you have a cold outbreak, which happens all the time this time of year in offices and in teams, there will be a nasty bug. There'll be a cold that'll be passed around from player to player. That's been going on our whole lives. Heck, Florida State played the national championship game with a flu bug, the one they lost to Florida.
I thought it was food. Was it flu or was it bad food?
I thought it was flu.
Okay.
I mean, it could have been both. I don't know. Who knows? But I thought it was the flu.
I think I'm conflating that with Jordan's flu game, which we found out in the last dance. Apparently, it was bad pizza.
Yeah, bad pizza.
Yeah.
Or he was really, really hammered. Who knows? It was a bad hangover. You never know with that guy. Yeah. But so what they'll do, I think, they need to reset. They kept these protocols in place from last year. Well, we're not last year. It's not April of 2020 anymore. We know a lot more about the disease. A lot more people are vaccinated. A lot more people are boosted, so you have a better protection against it. And supposedly, it's a lot more mild than what we dealt with.
More contagious, less severe.
Yes. Yeah. So and I'm saying this with a son that has it right now. So what I think will happen is they'll reset during the new year in all these leagues, like the NFL already has. They will come up with protocols where unless you're showing symptoms, you're not tested. But I think this time next year, and I think the NBA is going to do it this year, but the NFL will probably put it in place next year. You'll be able to play with COVID. It'll be like playing with a cold.
Yeah.
I'm not comparing COVID to a cold. I lived the last 2 years like all of you guys did. But this version of COVID appears to be, you just can't, otherwise, what's really baffling, what's funny to me is that we'll get back to the questions. There aren't any high school things being canceled.
All right.
High school sports
travel
are
ball
being
never
canceled.
skipped a beat, right?
Right, but why is that? Are we saying they're not sick, or they don't get tested? And there's a lot of kids that have cold, that have sniffles, that probably have COVID, but they're not canceling anything. What didn't Spider-Man just break like an all-time record, or one of the all-time records for most money made in an opening weekend?
I'll check that out. I can't think that's the truth.
It was close to it. It was
second.
Wow,
second biggest box office opening ever. Look at that, $253 million.
So Hollywood, and I'm not one of those people that call it Holly weird and anti-liberal, all that crap.
Coastal elites.
But Hollywood just packed movie theaters for an entire weekend with this virus out. They didn't shut it down, but sports now were being shut down. So so is Hollywood? Are all these movie theaters being reckless, or are they just trying to, number one, make money, which is all any of this is about, but adapt to the reality of the current situation, which isn't April of 2020? So look, man, Texas A&M isn't going to play.
Not April.
Yeah, so we're almost in 2022, and it's still COVID-19. We're about to be in 2022. So I just think we're gonna have to learn, like Adam Silver said, we're just gonna have to learn to deal with it. I think it'll get to a point where you will play with COVID. You just will. It'll be like having a cold. If you're vaccinated and boosted, and the chances of you going to the hospital are 0.00001%, then you will probably just play with COVID. The people know you have COVID. That probably gets you a few more open jumpers, by the way.
It probably does.
And you don't have people that are risk, that have bad immune systems or are older people, are susceptible to getting it and being hospitalized. I can't remember what those people are called now.
Immunocompromised.
There you go. You don't hang around with those people. But you wouldn't do that with the flu either.
Right.
So anyway, that's my thought on it right now. Like these college games are all going to be – a lot of these bowl games will be wiped out. The NFL has been this is absurd what's going on. I'm not saying they're doing something wrong. I'm just saying this is – you play 12 weeks one way, 13 weeks one way, and now it's a completely different sport here where you're having to go tap into practice squad. Joe Johnson just got signed by the Celtics.
It's been in the league for 3 years. 3 years.
I mean, it's crazy. Kevin Garnett will probably come back out. Dominique might play for the Hawks tonight. So all these things are being done. This isn't tenable. That's not sustainable. So they will come up with a plan where, look, you have COVID. If you're mild, maybe not this year, but this time next year, COVID's not going away. And if somebody catches COVID, I don't know that they're going to be like, if they're not showing any symptoms and they feel fine and they're vaxxed, they're probably going to play.
The reason I brought this up, Heather Dinich tweeted out that the college, and by the way, I saw something about a couple of the conferences, Big 12 might have been one, they've changed their forfeit policy, which doesn't tell you what the policy is now going to be, but I guess, I don't know, they're not going to cancel games, they're going to forfeit won't count against you, who knows. But Heather Dinich tweeted out, as we were recording this on Wednesday afternoon, that the College Football Playoff has announced updated policies allowing for a team to advance to the national championship and ultimately win it by its opponents having to forfeit, according to an updated set of COVID-19 policies the committee released on Wednesday. So, just if you're Cincinnati, just go around and get everybody sick and just hunker down. Send 3 agents to other schools, Michigan, Athens, some in Tuscaloosa, Ann Arbor, infiltrate.
Well, really, you just need Alabama for now.
Yeah, I guess.
You cross the other bridge when you get to it, but right now you just need Alabama. Yeah, man, it's just asinine. Like what's the rush? Like say there was an outbreak on Cincinnati's football team right now, like there is with A&M or Miami, and A&M can't play in 9 days because half their team they just don't have any eligible players. You're just going to say it. You're going to have a forfeit in a semifinal game. Like you can't wait a week until they have enough players to play. Like what's the rush?
What would we be saying if we were Florida State, we were healthy, and A&M was our playoff opponent, and they were sick? I don't know if we'd be like, just let them figure it out.
Well, I don't think you'd want to win by forfeit.
I don't know.
I mean, I guess a win is a win.
Survive in advance, baby.
Sure. Well, literally. But I think with this, man, I just think that's for the betterment of the sport. Again, we talk about that all the time. You wait. You delay it. Why can't – because they said, I saw the thing, they can't move the semifinal games. They have to be played on New Year's Eve. Why? It's a stupid day to play semifinal games anyway. But why do they have to be played on New Year's Eve? Why can't they be played on January 4th? And then the championship game moved back to January 14th. When those 5 extra days could be critical to getting 3, 10, 15 players back where you can have a competitive team. Yeah. Why can't they move it? I saw the tweets saying that they have to be played on December 31st. Didn't see any reasons why, other than that's the TV window they bought. Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't make any sense because what are you going to play? I don't know who's broadcasting, and I assume ESPN.
Yes.
What's ESPN going to have at 4:30 if there's no Alabama-Cincinnati game? What are they going to replay a old home run derby? Like the money is in the game. So I know windows are important, and you got you got the playoffs you don't want to have to compete with. I get all that, but it's bizarre to me that they wouldn't make every step available to make sure they actually have semifinal games played. But again, who's looking out for college football? Nobody.
All right, let's get back to the Florida State-centric part of the show. Seminole Mike won, which I think his name actually isn't Mike, but we won't say what his name is because I think he got mad at me last time I pointed that out. Ho, 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 and a very merry wake up to you too. Sucks the way it went down and the PR that went with it, but I personally feel like losing TH is less worrisome than the coaching changes at OC and QB. I think we all know who TH is. It'll be like Beetlejuice. I won't say his name out loud.
Right.
Last year was a visually improved team, and it also happened to be the first year in several with continuity at all coaching positions. let's assume we nail the portal with some productive players at positions of immediate need. Help me feel better that the coaching staff on the offensive side of the ball, including a new receivers coach, to be decided, will be able to keep feeding the bamboo. Also, should we be concerned that being offensive coordinator and offensive line coach may be too big to handle for one person? Well, we did talk about that on the previous show, which this question came in before that, so we probably answered most of those issues.
Yeah, but I think you could understand the trepidation there for some fans. It's like usually when you promote from within, you're promoting from within because you've got an established good product. The offense was, 56th in the country last year. It was not a good offense. And now you want stability, sure, but, there are OCs out there, if Norvell was willing to just hand the keys to someone that for sure, or you'd have a very good chance, you think would have a very good chance of getting you into the top 30 in the country in scoring or total yards or whatever metric you use. Alex Atkins is a bit of a wild card there. And, Norvell's offense, this is still going to be Norvell's offense. He might be calling the plays, and is that too much on his plate to be a head coach and an offensive play caller? You had a chance to maybe go get, an up-and-coming QB coach / offensive coordinator to join your program, and instead you hired a GA to be your QB coach, and you promoted an O-line coach to be your OC, when this offense hasn't been running on all cylinders for 2 years. So I get the trepidation there. That said, Tokarz might be awesome. He might be a great QB coach. He's certainly been in the system now. He's worked with Norvell a bunch, and Atkins might be a great OC. Or he might be an OC in name only, and that Norvell is going to take over the play calling and the play sheet, and then you have a whole other bunch of questions to ask. Like, can he do both? When was the last time he did both? And is he good at it? Can he multitask? All that stuff comes into play when you make decisions like this.
By the way, Florida State was 84th in total offense. They were 72nd in scoring offense. So.
Yeah, I think I was going with the efficiency ratings where they jumped up higher than that. But yeah, I mean there were 80. That's what I talked about when Oregon got Dillingham. It's like, what a sales job that must have been. You're getting the guy that had the 84th best offense in the country to come to Oregon. Oh man, that's awesome.
And you're paying him how much?
Yeah, it's a risky move by Norvell. And he's not above reproach. Like, it can be questioned because when your offense has just been kind of dangling in the wind for 2 years with a lot of holes in it that you're hopefully filling, but it's not been good, and your offensive coordinator leaves, instead of going getting an up-and-coming elite QB OC coach or somebody that's proven himself, an offensive coordinator at a lower level that's putting up 45 points a game or something, you go and promote a guy from the offensive line, and you bring up a GA to be the QB coach. And, I know you don't want to change schemes. You wouldn't want to change schemes, but everybody's going to want to see a lot more out of this offense because it's going to be year 3 now, or year 2.5, however you want to frame it. But this offense has to be much better in 2022 for this team to take that next step.
Yeah, I mean, he says, let's assume we nail the portal. Help me feel better that the coaching staff will be able to keep feeding the bamboo. I don't know how much of it's going to be the coaching, but you just feel that maybe Jordan being that much more confident, being entrenched, offensive line is going to be better. God love DLT, but he just was never whole at any point this season, it seems like.
Right.
Dylan Gibbons obviously proved to be a lot better than we anticipated. Caden Lyles is going to give you an upgrade either over what you had with DLT on the interior or maybe over Maurice. And there's still some tackles out there, Bless Harris is supposedly on his way. Maybe he kind of gives you a little bit of a shot in the arm. Darius is a year older. Robert Scott's a year older. So I think maybe Alex Atkins, even if he's not calling plays, he will be responsible for this team being better on the offense, because if the offensive line's better and Jordan's got more time, more comfortability in the pocket, and Toafili's got some bigger holes to run through. I think maybe him and Trayshawn give some more explosive ability than Jay Sean. Although Jay Sean was great, so I don't want to try to sound like...
Yeah, and he had like 2 80-yard runs.
Yeah. So
So he was explosive too. You don't besmirch.
I mean, I'm
Jay Sean's name.
trying to help people feel better about stuff. This is what happens. So I can't, I'm terrible when I fake it. But anyway. Captain D _63. That's Daryl in Thomasville, North Carolina. Good afternoon, Corey and Aslan. Merry Christmas to both of you. May God bless your families during the holiday season. Likewise, Daryl.
Thank you, Daryl.
My question. Basketball team, with them having forfeited 2 games, where does that put them as far as how many games they're behind and having to catch up when it comes to ACC games? Last time we saw them versus a real team, they stunk it up pretty bad as far as chemistry and playing together. What say you all? Sign up for warchant.com, drink your diluted coffee or hot chocolate, hit the like button, and go Noles. Merry Christmas, Noles Nation.
They didn't forfeit them, so they don't count as losses. And I think they're going to try to reschedule the North Florida game if they can. I know both teams want to. But basically what they did is they lost 2 chances to, get wins, number one, and help the resume a little bit, but just get better. Like now they got nothing but conference games left, and they have not been playing well. And they needed – this was the last thing they needed. This was the last thing anybody would need, but especially for a team that's trying to find itself and find any sort of rhythm. The last thing they needed is a 2-week pause, and then you're thrown right back into the fire of ACC play. So we'll see. They could have used a game against North Florida. They could have used the Orange Bowl Classic as nice non-conference tune-ups before the conference season started. Maybe feeling a little bit better about themselves going into conference play. But yeah, man, I don't think they were going to really boost the resume one way or the other. If they're going to get in the tournament this year, it's going to be solely on what they do in the ACC, and they have to get much better. If they don't improve drastically from what we've seen, then yeah, they're not making the NCAA tournament. Now, so it's a Leonard Hamilton team, and they usually do get better as they go. So there's no reason to believe they won't. And the ACC is not good at all this year. I mean, it's bad. So there are a lot of winnable games out there. The problem is there's not a lot of resume boosters either. There's Duke, and I think that might be it. North Carolina just got blown out by 30 by Kentucky. Duke's the best team in the league by far, it looks like, and I don't know if there's another top 20 team in the league. So, yeah, there's not going to be a lot of chances to really boost the resume, but if they string enough wins together, they should still be able to find a way to get in the tournament. But yeah, man, they got to get better, and they've just lost 2 weeks right in the middle of getting better season. This is where you get better, and they just lost 2 because they get to practice a lot. There's no school to worry about. You get games that you should be able to win, maybe even win comfortably, and you get a lot of guys some minutes and some confidence. All that went out the window, and now it's just conference games from here on out. So hope it works out for them.
Yeah. Hey, remember last year they had to hit the pause button twice, and they came out real strong after each of those. So,
well, last year they had Scotty Barnes.
Well, that's true. I'm not going to be positive anymore, everybody, because Corey's just dunking on me. Mucknoll been a little bit more amicable in his correspondence on here, so I'll read his question. Good day, fellas. He's been rude to me in the past. I don't like it. Any idea what Destyn Hill could possibly be doing with his time from 7 o'clock in the morning to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday for the past 6 months or so? Maybe he's been working tirelessly on getting the necessary paperwork submitted to have his last name switched from Hill back to Payson after Tyreek told him to back off. Seriously, though, what could this young man possibly be doing on a daily basis that is more attractive than practicing and preparing to play ACC Power 5 football, assuming that he even has a burning desire to play any longer? Who knows? Maybe he became a new dad earlier this year and is busy dealing with that. 'Tis truly the strangest FSU recruitment since the Bowden era. Yeah, we didn't have a lot of these with Jimbo, right? Like, if they didn't sign, it was like, yeah, they're going to put him in a JUCO, and we'll maybe get him. And then, like, he didn't come, and it's like, okay, we're done. But I shouldn't say they. We're holding on for him. Maybe that's my New Year's resolution. I'm going to try to find him and get, like, an actual video interview with him, like a Zoom or something. I'm not going to drive out. Maybe I will drive to New Orleans. Go rip it up.
Yeah, what else do you have to do?
Yeah, so what else do I have to do between 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday? Yeah, that would have helped, I guess. But again, hit the portal. Anything you get in the portal, I think, is probably going to be an upgrade over what he would be for you right now. And I know we can't be so short-sighted, but, man, they got to win. They've got to win. I don't want to say big, but they got to win. They got to win 8-9 games next season. I'm sorry, 7-6, it's better. But again, I don't really know. You're still going to have 5 to 6 weeks, 5 to 6 games, 5 to 6 Sundays and Mondays where we're like, what the hell just happened? 3 or 4 is still not great, but it's a little bit more palatable, I feel like. But yeah, I don't know, who knows with Destyn Hill? Who knows? But I tell you what, next time we do get Norvell or anybody, I'll bring. But I don't know. Can we bring the name up specifically, or can we
I think so, because I want to go back and see last year if he talked about him, because I think he did.
No,
I think he talked about him during the early signing period because he signed.
Ah, touche.
So if he's talked about him, I think that we can ask about him. I don't know what he'll say. He probably would be like he is with injuries and be very vague. But yeah, man, it's a mystery, and people want to know. And you're right. The next time we get Norvell, so that'll probably be the next early signing period when we talk to him. We should, one of us, I'll do it. I'll if I remember, I will ask about Destyn Hill.
We'll do it. Nole 12 PCB. I feel like this is a new person. You got to check in with your favorite, your hometown and famous people. But whatever, it's Christmas. We'll let it slide. Wake up! Wide receiver recruitment is low, but the offensive line is getting beefed up. Even if we only get minimal improvement at wide receiver, how much do you think an improved offensive line will help the passing game? Surely, better protection could help us win 1 to 2 more games this year. That's accurate.
Yes. The offensive line is the most important position on the offense besides the quarterback. It makes everybody look better, for sure. Receivers, if you give them an extra second to get open, they usually can. It's a big deal to be good on the offensive line, a really big deal. And so that will help. You still need guys out wide that can go make plays, though, because you are going to get beat sometimes on a rush. You are going to just throw a ball up, and it's really cool when a kid can go make a play and get you a touchdown where you didn't draw up a perfect play. And they haven't had that in a long time. So hopefully they can get 1 or 2 more guys on this roster that can give them that. Because I don't know if they have one right now. I think McClain is trending in that direction where he can be a guy that occasionally gets you 6 for 100. But other than that, these other guys are what they are. We've seen it. They're just pedestrian. I love them to death. Keyshawn is a great kid. But he's not an elite wide receiver. He could be good in a different role if you had. I would like to see Keyshawn working in concert with 2 elite receivers, because I think he would be really good in that role. Mm-hmm. But he, like a Kenny Shaw, but he's not. He hasn't had the chance to. So he's just kind of had an okay pedestrian career. But maybe this year they'll bring in another elite receiver. Micah Pittman ends up being something good. And then we can see what Keyshawn Helton can do. But, yes, everybody will be better with a good offensive line. Yeah, everybody.
I mean, again, just, Robert Scott, I think they're probably the most bullish on in terms of their young guys. So he's at your left tackle spot. If you bring this Bless Harris kid in, maybe he's somewhat better than Darius, and you can put him at right tackle. You flex Darius on the inside. You got Dylan Gibbons on the other guard spot, and then you got that Caden Lyles kid playing center, with Thomas Schrader and Maurice Smith backing guys up. Not bad. Not bad at all. That's a good offensive line, I would dare say.
It could be. It could be. What they really need to do, man, is avoid some surgeries. Like, legitimately, let these guys get a year. So many, like every one of those guys, Robert Scott, Maurice Smith, Darius Washington, I don't know if they've had surgeries, but they've had injuries where they can't really work on their bodies. They get beaten up because they had to play so young. If you give them 8 months of no surgeries, of just working out and getting stronger and bigger, I would love to see how that pays off, the dividends that come from that. Because that is the drawback. You gain experience, much needed experience when you're 19 years old and you're starting on the offensive line of a college football team, but your body gets beat to hell. And you sometimes it can thwart your growth to the point where you're never going to be any good because you just can't get strong and put on man weight because you're always hurt. So if they get a year off of not a year off of a football season off, but if they get the next 7 or 8 months and can avoid surgeries, shoulder surgeries, knees, any kind of surgery, and can just work on their bodies and get bigger and stronger, I'd like to see what all that looks like.
By the way, this is all happening live in real time. We're recording this, so this is not live, but as we're talking, it is. So apparently Wake's athletic director said that 4 teams have reached out about replacing A&M in their Gator Bowl game. So
I know Willie Simmons at FAMU tweeted out like they were ready to play.
Nice.
That would be cool, man.
That'd
Wake
be
Forest
awesome.
should do that. That would be really cool for Florida A&M to be able to do that.
Absolutely. All right, 2 more. XDQ004. It's Derek, everybody. He is an Omega man. Wake up! With early sign day over, let's celebrate our new Noles. Though we had the Travis Hunter surprise, he wrote the name. I'm just reading the words on my screen. I'm going to view things through a positive lens. We got much needed help on the offensive line, mostly for depth, though. Armella and Jalen Early could push for early playing time. And in the back half of the defense, we had a top 15 class after having a losing record, which I believe is a first in this era. Now we have to get to work in the portal. It's going to be a slow and steady process, but I have faith that we will land what we need. If last year showed us anything, these guys can find complementary pieces to fill out the roster. We may not find Jermaine, but finding 2 Keir Thomases would be just as good. Oh, I don't know about that, Derek. Love you, though.
It wouldn't be just as good because you had a Keir Thomas and a Jermaine.
Yeah.
But it would be really good. It would be, that'd be a triple off the wall, right? To have 2 Keir Thomases. That would make you, you don't have the elite, you don't have like the potential first-round draft pick at defensive end, but you've got 2 really good college football players. So hopefully they can do that. I think right now, I would say that's their biggest need, is replenishing what they lost at defensive end at that position. Although they do like the young guys that they have, they're not proven. We don't know if any of them can really play. We don't know if they can hold up for an entire season. So it would be nice to get some depth there, and maybe a guy or 2 that could challenge for all conference honors would be really nice. But that said, he was talking about being a slow and steady. It's going to be a slow, arduous process. That I meant to bring that up when we were talking about the quarterbacks. Like there also will be quarterbacks available after spring practices are over, right? Because that's when those quarterbacks will realize, okay, I'm not winning this job. So, like, for the next month or so, maybe the portal isn't as full as you'd want it. But remember, you didn't get Dylan Gibbons until April of last year because he realized, I think he even said he had a talk with the Notre Dame coaches, realized they weren't planning on him being a starter after spring practice, and he went elsewhere. So that will be the case with this. That's why you don't want to push all in on a kid that you're just okay about, that you're just kind of tepid about. You want to be like white hot excited about, because you don't want to lose out on kids that come through the portal in April because you don't have any spots available. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, and I do think maybe they get their quarterback after that. There will be some guys at these schools that realize, okay, I'm not going to play here, and they're going to get in the portal, and then that's when you can maybe get a guy from a Power 5 school that wants to compete for the job.
This might go back to what NYC Noel was asking earlier, but I wonder who Florida State's capologist is. I'd like to talk to them and be like, hey, listen, we got $750,000, but we've got at least $500,000 of it earmarked for defensive ends. So everybody chill out with wanting us to get more linebackers and a quarterback or another receiver. Like, we're holding on our money because we need to get a defensive end. Again, no one is flash in the portal, maybe other than Jared Verse, kid from Albany, who's been racking up a lot of offers.
Yeah.
That would have been nice maybe to be able to secure him, but I don't know how much that's a thing, right? Now you're talking about the human resource aspect of it in terms of waiting for guys to be available that you think are going to be able to give you what you need in terms of like depth. But then when you have to replace All-Americans, how do you handle that? I feel like trying to replace Jermaine is a much more different task than it is finding a good backup for Jordan. Like, you've got to be ready to pounce on anybody that flashes anything resembling Jermaine Johnson if you're Florida State.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody out there yet that does that, but there will be.
Hopefully, yeah.
I mean, there will be. Again, maybe not a Jermaine Johnson, but there will be Keir Thomases out there. You just got to have a package in place that makes it appealing for him to come to your school, I guess.
Last one. It's Eric in Cincinnati, Knoll 43. Wake up, Merry Christmas, Aslan and Corey, and everyone else at Warchant. I hope Coach Odell Higgins can come back, as he's the heart and soul of FSU over the decades. Yeah, why wouldn't he come back? Come on.
Well, maybe he wants to take it to the golf course or something.
the pond. He's a fisherman.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's probably not playing a lot of golf.
As far as Coach Ron Dugans, he's a great guy. I have known him for a long time during his tenure with the Cincinnati Bengals as a player. That's right, Eric's from Cincy. Hopefully the Noles can get more wideouts besides Malik McClain, Micah Pittman, and maybe they can get Kevin Coleman if he hasn't signed his letter of intent to another school by now. He has not. He's still available. Let's figure that out. Thanks for all you guys do at Warchant. I am booked for a week in Tallahassee for the spring game. Hopefully I can come to the Duke game in January. Eric in Cincinnati. That's right. They announced the we didn't talk about that the other week. It was a spring game. April
9th. It's the Saturday of the Masters, as always.
As always.
And it's in between two home baseball series. So the baseball team's on the road. No, the baseball team's on the road.
God, why? Michael Alford, figure it out.
It just doesn't seem that hard. Like, I don't know why you would, like, there will be people that would go to both.
There has to be this reason that's just staring us in the face that we don't realize, because it's been happening forever.
It's hard. That's the reason. It is hard, and I don't deny it's hard. The logistics of baseball traffic and baseball parking, along with football parking and people not leaving but at the end of the day, it's college baseball. You just want people around the stadium, and they might be like, the more people that are around the stadium, they might be, you know what? Let's go watch this baseball team play. Like, just do it. Just do it and see what happens. They did it in 2018, which I didn't remember, but the time before that they did it was 2013. You had a quarterback win the MVP of the game and then go over and play in the nightcap of a doubleheader and get a couple hits, I think, and maybe close it out. I know he pitched. I think he hit in that game too, and it was cool. But it didn't seem to really affect anything. I don't quite understand why they do it. I would think maybe Meat doesn't want it, but I don't know why, because I think you'd want, like, if you had the spring game at 5, and you had a baseball game that started at noon, I think you would get a lot of people at that baseball game.
Or 7 o'clock. It's a spring game. It's not going to go for 4 hours. After that game's over, people walk over to
you start the spring game at 4, and you start because the second half is a running clock nonsense anyway. Yeah. So the second half, so you start the spring game at 4, and then a baseball game at 7. And, I mean, just try it. See what happens. People like it. I've never understood that at all. And yeah, they always do it on Masters Saturday. Not that they should really be thinking about it that much. That's another state and another sport. But yeah, that's the fact that they won't coincide it with a baseball series has always been bizarre.
All right, that's a wrap for us then. Not the last show of the year. We'll be back next week.
Oh, we will?
I mean, I don't know.
Hey, for all we know, Florida State will be playing in the Gator Bowl.
That's right.
So we have to preview them, the rematch. That's what they'll call it, the rematch against Wake.
The fifth quarter.
The fifth quarter by the landing.
Yeah. Doesn't quite roll off the tongue, but print the shirts. Print the shirts, everybody. If there is any breaking news, you can always turn to warchant.com, the ultimate Seminoles sports source. Jeff's under the weather, but maybe he'll bounce back for a show on Thursday or Friday. Not sure, but we're always here for you folks on the internet because we're a website. We're never closed. We are always open. Thanks so much for listening. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. This has been Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee. Come explore our world of coffee. DeLuna Coffee features over 24 different blends. DeLuna's unique roasts can be delivered ground finely for drip coffee makers, coarse for the craft crowd, untouched as a whole bean, or even in convenient K-Cups. Founded in 2014 by the Lemmix family, Ed and Brett are FSU alums and boosters who are extending a special offer to all listeners. Use the promo code WARCHANT15 for a 15% discount. Visit DeLunaCoffee.com and check out their Facebook and Instagram.